China is expected to face further pressure to reduce its carbon emissions when global leaders meet at the UN tonight.
China's most polluted.
20 signs China's pollution has reached apocalyptic level.
We're all feeling the heat when it comes to climate change. And China is one of climate change's biggest culprits. It burns over half the world's coal and accounts for a quarter of global greenhouse gas emissions.
But China also wants to be seen as a climate leader. It has implemented an unprecedented policy framework in an effort to cap emissions and meet global carbon pledges, and is making a concerted effort to use more energy from renewable sources. It's also responsible for some of the most pioneering efforts to tackle both domestic and international environmental problems. Number 1. All-electric bus and taxi fleets. China is already both the world's largest manufacturer and buyer of electric vehicles, accounting for more than half of all electric cars made and sold in the world. What's more, over 30 Chinese cities are on their way to making all taxi and bus fleets completely electric by 2022. As of 2019, China had an estimated 421,000 electric buses on the road. Compare that to all of Europe, which has an estimated 2,250. Number 2. Sponge and bamboo cities. Climate change is causing an increasing amount of unpredictable weather patterns and rising water levels, which puts populations around the world at risk. Award-winning architect and professor Yu Kongjian saw an opportunity to rethink how cities could be less at odds with nature. He invented the idea of sponge cities, a model that rethinks city planning to improve water capture. Yu has said that his methods were based on peasant farming techniques that he then readapted for urban environments. The Chinese government has since adopted sponge cities as a template for future urban planning models. Meanwhile, organizations like Inbar are advocating for bamboo, a highly plentiful natural resource in China, to be rethought as a sustainable construction material in Chinese cities. Architects are testing out its possibilities in locations like this rural village in Anhui province, where a team of architects turned a disused courtyard into a public meeting space that blends in seamlessly with surrounding buildings. Number 3. China's artificial suns. While this may sound like something out of a Marvel movie, an artificial sun is actually a nuclear fusion device that China hopes can bring clean electricity to millions. One of the first of these suns, in southeast China's Anhui province, successfully reached the 100 million degree milestone in 2018. A year later, in 2019, a second sun in western China's Sichuan province was able to reach 200 million degrees, 13 times hotter than our own sun. China is actually one of the leading countries in innovating nuclear technology, in addition to being number 1 in the world when it comes to renewable energy production, from sources such as wind, solar, and hydropower. Number 4. Carbon capture in Wyoming. In 2018, a team from Suzhou, China packed their bags and headed to a power plant in Gillette, Wyoming. Their goal? To spend 2 years testing a new carbon capture project as finalists for the $20 million Carbon X Prize. The team is co-led by Dr. Wayne Song, who heads the company C4X and has a 25-year track record in engineering composite materials. Song and his team are trying to turn CO2 emissions into chemicals and biocomposite plastics for construction projects, car interiors, and even everyday items such as coffee cups. Number 5. Xi'an's giant air purifier. China has a very well-documented air pollution problem, but after policymakers spent years defending the nation's right to emit, the airpocalypse years put them in the hot seat to start fixing it fast. Following in the footsteps of a 23-foot-tall tower built by a Dutch studio in Beijing, the city of Xi'an in northern China decided to experiment with putting air filtration into their city's architecture by building the world's largest air purifier. Built by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the solar-assisted tower, about as tall as a 20-story building, was designed to pump out up to 8 million cubic meters of filtered air every day. Initial tests in 2018 proved that the filter really was able to make the surrounding air cleaner, although reports say that the city would need over 100 of them to eliminate air pollution entirely. China's road to combating our climate crisis has not been without substantial setbacks, and its environmental record is far from perfect. But with time fast running out, ignoring Chinese efforts in offsetting emissions and saving the planet seems short-sighted at best. What the world needs now, from everyone, is action. If you want to learn more on China and the environment, visit RADIIChina.com.